Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Precious and Bunnies, and in this video I'll be giving you some of my easiest and simplest tricks that you can apply to your sketches to give that extra pop or that extra contrast. When it comes to art, sketching is one of my favorite things to do above anything else. I appreciate it. I think it's a beautiful way of doing or creating art. So over the years I have developed my own style, and I also have developed these sort of go-to techniques or methods to make that style come to life in a way. So how to create deeper values, how to blend the pencil or the graphite pencil. There's a lot of things that I have learned over the years. So I want to cover those things in this video, starting with the materials, some kind of blending techniques, how I do my own thing, and also how I establish value with the graphite pencils and colored pencils. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that I do have an Instagram and Facebook account, so if you want to give a follow there, I do post my art and some Instagram stories sometimes of bunnies and travels and things that I'm up to, so if you want to give a follow, you can go ahead there. So let's get started with covering the materials. Having a great set of graphite pencils can make a world's difference between a simple HB sketch to a sketch that has a great range of values and depth. My go-to set is the Faber Castell 9000 art set that includes 12 graphite pencils that range from a light 2H to a hard 8B. This is one of my absolute favorite products just because of its high quality and durability. I never really have issues with the lead breaking, and also the pencil itself draws onto the paper super smooth. I also think that for 12 pencils, you do get a great price for it. At least in Germany, it's about 12 euros for the box. Maybe outside of the German market, it might be a little bit more expensive, but 12 euros for 12 pencils, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Additional materials include what you see here. I have a tissue or a paper towel for blending. I also use a tortillon or a blending stump for blending, which I'll be talking about in a few minutes. The next things I do use are erasers. I have a kneadable eraser just for general erasing of a large surface, and something that's a little bit more defined, more thinner, is my Staedtler eraser. I wish I actually had one that was smaller, which I'll probably be buying very soon, but this does help for detail work when you're drawing with graphite. And finally, I do have my colored pencils for that extra detail or contrast. I do now mix between Prismacolor and Faber Castell Polychromos. They do have a difference, and I'll be doing a separate review video on the difference between these two products, but I do use this for extra contrast in my work. There are many ways to blend, with a tissue, a blending stump, a brush, with a gradient, or even with your finger. I won't be talking about every method, but I'll only be talking about the methods that I use every time I sketch. My favorite blending technique is with the tortillon or the blending stump, which is what you see me use right now in the video. This is essentially a rolled up piece of paper that has a pointy end. I guess that's the simplest way to describe it. This tool is commonly used when blending drawings that have to do with charcoal or graphite pencil. It is one of the most effective blending ways, I find anyways. You can also get a tortillon in different sizes, ranging from very thick to kind of medium size, which is what I'm using now, to something that's a lot thinner and pointier for finer detail. I really like this tool just because it gives that right amount of blending. I don't have to work too hard for it, and also I don't typically blend crazy amounts of paper or drawings. I don't tend to draw very realistic. I have kind of an illustrative style, so this is a perfect blending technique for some of the key areas that I want to blend, for example around the eyes, around the nose, the mouth, maybe the hair, and this basically covers everything I need to do with blending. Another blending method that I use has to do with the way you draw with the graphite pencils. By creating a simple gradient with a different value, so you can create a smooth transition between light to dark. This is a method I typically use when sketching in hair or backgrounds. In this example, I have a base of H, and then I gradually sketch a 2B on top and also a 3B. Using tissue or paper towel is another method that I seldom use. This is super practical when you have a larger area of surface that you want to blend, perhaps a background or around the edges of a subject to give a blur effect. Overall, in terms of blending methods, I tend to stick to the first two, with the blending stump and the gradient effect. If you're struggling with creating a great sketch, try working with a wide range of values. By incorporating highlights, midtones, and shadows into your work, you will quickly see a huge difference in contrast. In the case of my work, as it is not realism, you will not see such a wide range in values. I tend to stick primarily to 2H, HB, 2B, 4B, and 8B. Although the first four values are closer in range, the 8B sticks out like a sore thumb. But that's the point. With my style, I like to use the darkest value for certain elements, such as the eyes or to frame the face. In certain cases, not even the 8B is dark enough. So what you're seeing me do right now in the video, I am actually using a colored pencil to sort of highlight these key areas around the face, to darken them and really make them stand out. Using a colored pencil is a great way to further enhance the darkest area of your sketch, and as a bonus, it also sort of eliminates the shine that you get with graphite pencils. So let's put part 1, 2, and 3 all together in the speed drawing video of this quick little sketch that I did in my sketchbook. Essentially, what I tend to start off with is always with my lightest pencil. This could range from 2H to HB. Whatever I feel like using, I will use it, but it's going to be the lightest value ever. As I progress with the drawing, I basically, build the face or build the subject, and as I progress, I start to add more values as I go along. I tend to work around the eyes first, so I'll start to add a 2B or 3B. It's still going to be quite light in terms of the value range, but I do tend to start already building up some of this contrast. As I go along, I'm adding contrast, I'm blending it, I'm using the gradient method, I'm using my blending stump to blend, and I just keep adding layer on top of layer around the certain elements that I want to emphasize. My style is very specific and illustrative in the way that I tend to use a darker value, such as 6B or 8B, to emphasize the face or areas around the face or key features such as the eyes and the lips. I really like this angular perspective, and I like to draw thicker lines in certain areas, and I find it really beautiful when I use a darker tone for this. So this is more or less kind of the thinking behind why I use these certain values for certain areas on a subject. There will be a point in the drawing when I will switch to colored pencils, and this will then be to highlight certain areas. Sometimes I use colored, sometimes I stick to grayscale and or indigo blue or even black, but I tend to use the darkest pencil crayons around the eyes, the nose, the lips, the face, and the hair. And again, this is just to highlight and really kind of extract that contrast that I want. One of the things that tends to happen with graphite is that it's quite shiny when put against the light, so having a kind of matte colored pencil on top of it will eliminate the shine, and it will just bring that contrast to another level. Once I'm happy with the result, with the contrast and kind of the highlighted elements, I then go back and kind of fix some things, add details. For facial details or skin details, I tend to work with a lighter pencil, maybe 2H or in F even, and I will add imperfections to the skin and also rework some of the contrasting elements such as the blending or the gradients. Additional things that I may do is either whip out my colored pencils and maybe draw one color just to give a little bit more life to the character. For example, here I'm using pink in the sketch, or I then switch to my eraser and I just kind of highlight certain areas, especially around the eyes. And this is why I would recommend getting an eraser that's a little bit thinner the tip is pointier and you'll be able to get really into the deep nitty-gritty details of your sketch and highlight certain areas very, very beautifully. So yeah, that's about everything. I hope you did enjoy this video. I hope you learned something. Please let me know down below in the video comments if you have any additional things that you do to make your sketch stand out or to make your sketch really pop with vibrancy and with life. I'd love to hear your techniques, so do comment down below. That being said, I will then see you in next week's video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, I hope the sun is shining in your part of the world. We'll see each other very soon. Bye!